Chapter 3. The Calling. Uncertainty, as much as it drives me, is my one and only true enemy. I fight for it every day. I yearn for it all the same. Like some fucked up junkie clinging to an opium pipe, promising this will be the last drag. To cut a long story short, I couldn't get the job offer out of my head. The uncertainty was driving me up the wall, right when I was getting comfortable in the usual call. Time, date, intent, target. The clean geometry of it. And although I figured this job would follow a similar pattern, I also knew whisperers had to dodge more bullets than I ever did. Just not the kind that leave holes you can stitch. Words. Lies. Deceit. Not just roleplay. A whisperer would craft them, thread by thread, until assassination looked like child's play. One decision could trigger a war, another could topple a government. Likewise, it could achieve the opposite effect. That was the very essence of the Dark Brotherhood. Sure, I could lie and deceive. At times I quite enjoyed it out on the field. But to make it a profession on the level of elites? I wasn't quite sure if I was cut out for this job. I knew all the principles, studied them like a zealot. A shadow doctrine that offered clarity from a distance, focusing on one core priority. Use chaos as a medium to maintain order, balance the thread. In effect, chaos would bring peace. Lies would seed truth. Above all, destruction would balance the cost. This is how Discordia, mistress of deception, mother of lies, wrapped her playbook in a nice geopolitical kebab. 5 core principles focused on seduction and dissemination. The first principle was designed to cut threads like an invisible knife. Its purpose was to use neutrality as a weapon. In other words, don't pick sides, pick angles. Stand in the middle with clean hands. Offer sanctuary, mediation, a warm seat at the table. Then make sure the chair is bolted down and the table belongs to you. The second taught how to pull the rug over one's eyes. Agenda. Use chaos as currency. Don't put fires out, move them. Trade one blaze for another. Sell peace like a loan and collect interest when they're weakest. The third stitched policy like a seamstress on the mafia's payroll. Its core value was to build with information, not steal. Steel rusts. Soldiers die. Secrets don't. Control the truth. Lie like you loaded a barrel, leaking with precision. Time it perfectly, so it never looks like a leak. The fourth dangled carrots to starving rabbits. Engineer dependence to control resources. Make sure nobody's ever full. Make every nation need something it can't grow, can't mine, can't build without your neutral channels. Once they need the channel, they need the hand that owns it. The fifth was a cracker, its effect lasting generations. It taught you to move like a vampire selling Salvation muffins in broad daylight. Attach terms to every gift. Make mercy come with paperwork that cuts. Use courts to settle disputes by rewiring dependency. Teach rare skills in your academies. Then stamp loyalty into the graduates with gratitude and debt dressed up as opportunity. With the rulebook as my bedtime story, I tossed and turned, building scenarios, what hidden level I'd be presented with under Discordia's hive, what outcomes I'd be herded toward by choice, by volition or not, and whether I'd accept the offer at all. And that was the mark of the Domina. The best and worst pie you'd ever want to taste. Discordian. Antinomian instinct. Ingrained in me by 12. Jareth's way, spiked with the Domina's grim philosophy, was the closest thing I had to religion. 6 in the morning. Out in the street early, I walked to the station, caught the local shuttle train to Midtown Silvertide, and stepped out into the familiar. A building whose open face presented nothing of what it hid beneath. The facade of many voices. Lawyers and policymakers spinning about, rushing, talking, trying to maintain a fragile cornering of human flesh wired to brains built on one simple primal drive. Take what you can. Screw everybody else. Domina Discordia posed itself as many things. A law firm was just one of its guises. This one seemed aligned to its own underworldly lores, gentle on the palate. Ironbridge and Company, civic attorneys, Discordia's proven long-term vassal. A frequent meeting point that grew on my skin, not under it. A persistent irritation, something you can't ignore because it's always there. Touching, rubbing, sticking, chafing. And here I was strutting casually through the main hall. Passing faces, some familiar, most seeing me as something to avoid. I dodged anyone and everyone and took the lift down to the basement. To level 3. I knew level 1. That's where operatives would go. Clearance was heavy there. And I could only imagine what level 3 would be like. The lift jolted and stopped. The doors crawled open. Air rolled out, stale, dry. Wrong for lungs, perfect for a basement. The walls down here were black with age, the kind of black that doesn't come from paint so much as time. Light avoided it. Sound stuck to it. If stone could keep secrets, this place had been hoarding them for years. As I always do, I tightened my gait and listened to my own steps. Can't help it, like a shepherd counting sheep. Steps give you rhythm. Rhythm gives you detail, and detail tells you whether you're about to shake someone's hand or end up with a bag over your head. Life. Death. Friend or foe. Interrogation. Prison. I've already covered why I'd be bad news for prison. My boots crunched on grit. The echo came back at me off hard surfaces, flat, close, boxed in. I followed the drip of water because it was the only thing in the place with a direction. Light dropped from an opening above. Not much, just enough to sketch the room and make the shadows tell the truth. No one waited for me. No handler. No greeting. No board security pretending they weren't armed. Nothing. Jareth. Of course. He forgot to tell me what I was supposed to do, then remembered later and tossed it at me like an afterthought. Go to the gargoyle. Like that clears anything up. Like I keep a glossary of underground statues in my pocket. Only two options, back into the lift or forward. Fuck it. I went forward. A short flight of steps dropped into an open space. On the right sat an iron-bolted door, thick, old, built to refuse. Beside it, anchored into the wall like a warning you couldn't move, was the gargoyle. Stone horns. Heavy jaw. Close-set eyes cut deep into its face. Whoever carved it understood the job. Make you pause, make you doubt, make you turn back if you didn't absolutely need to be here. My position was debatable. What do you say to a boss who wants to promote you, even if it's for all the wrong reasons? No, sir. I think I'll just keep being a butcher, if you don't mind. Near the handle, a circle had been carved into the wall. Around it, glyphs. Clean lines. Sharp edges. A language built for instructions. I don't do arcane. The black shit in the vial I was supposed to drink was my first real poke at this hocus-pocus business. I forced myself to believe it had its place, especially when pyromania was the contender and I was the fire starter. But I knew what had been rubbed into those grooves. A clear smear that only showed itself when the light hit it right, like dried glass. Hecus tears. Illegal. Rare. Expensive enough to start wars in alleys. It came from deep runoff, bedrock seams with crystal growths nobody touched unless they had money, muscle, or a death wish. Purified. Refined. Turned into a grit you could work into stone. The stuff held resonance. Not fairy tale magic, resonance. Pattern vibration. Instructions that sat dormant until something triggered them. That's how they built half their arcane tech. Warning systems, locks, servitors, animatronics that moved on command like the stone remembered how to obey. Black markets traded it like religion. People bled for it too. It was a different kind of gold rush. And if you combined it with Zoroastrium alloy, then you weren't just locking doors, you were birthing a new category of trouble. Technomancy. Automatons with manners, some without. Machines driven by gears, circuits, and rules. And here it was, Hecus tears, hexaline crystals, whatever name you preferred, embedded. Smeared on. Injected into the veins of a door under a law firm. Goosebumps rose. Good sign or bad sign, I never know. That's my flaw. I walk in like I can handle it. If I admit how bad it might be, I either kill the danger or freeze. Two choices. Very different outcomes. I stepped closer anyway. The gargoyle's head angled a few degrees toward me. Slow. Deliberate. Like it was weighing my worth in silence. Yeah, I muttered. I'm impressed too. Jareth's words sat in my mouth. If the gargoyle applauds, it means you didn't swear, or you said something right. I might have laughed, if it hadn't pinned me with that fucking stare. I wasn't built for formality. I found it stupid. The kind of phrasing that belongs in theaters, in the mouths of overpaid actors playing at operatives. The sort I'd love to drag into a confession room and educate properly. The problem is, I wouldn't be acting. Bad thought. Kitian Riverstone. Requiring access. Operation Kill Switch. I said, exactly how I was told to say it. Nothing. I put my hand on the circle. A fine vibration ran through the stone, tight, controlled. The air picked up that sharp bite, electrical like ozone. For a moment the glyphs looked slick again, as if the tears had woken and remembered their job. The gargoyle tilted its head once more, evaluation, not curiosity, then croaked two words. Access granted. Bolts clicked, one after another, iron releasing in sequence. The door eased open with a sound that said, "Come in, but don't get comfortable." I stood there a beat, listening to the drip of water and the silence behind the door. Then I went through.